Michael Jordan is not only the best basketball player, but he's the most exciting basketball player to ever play.
Tatum fires away, pumps it in, 51 for Jason Tatum.
The Big Three NBA podcast is powered by Prize Picks and the Game Time app.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking in with the Big Three NBA podcast. I'm Kwani Lunis, joined as always with Sherrod Blakely and Gary Washburn, just moments after Gary had a chance to see an iconic music video that we'll get into in just a second. But how are you two doing?
Look, I'm just ready to do it. That's all. That's all I want to do. I just want to do it. Just want to do this and get it moving.
Over with.
And I say that just to see Gary cringe and look up in the sky like, Lord, why am I here?
All right, Gary, how are you?
I'm fine. I don't have the 6 minutes of my life that it took to watch the video, but it was bad. I'm not ripping the video.
No, for sure.
You just did.
No, I'm just being funny. It was okay, So yeah, we can discuss that. I'm not big on rap. I just went to a wedding of my godson this weekend, and he's 31. So all they played was trap music. So all I was doing was on my
2015 baby, college kids at least.
Yeah. He's 31.
That was literally my senior year at BP.
Yeah. So all they played, and so all I did was do the what's the music search thing?
Shazam. Shazam.
Yeah, I was Shazamming all night.
Like,
what the hell song is this? What the hell song is that? What is this? Like, I ain't hear no, I ain't hear no, this is how we do it. I ain't hear no.
They didn't have the throwbacks at least?
Nah, he's playing all trap, the kids love the young people,
Yeah.
But I was like, damn, this is not my, this is not going to be the time that Gary hits the floor on this one. But yeah, it was interesting. So I'm trying to understand what these young folks are saying and talking about. And this was another example, but
that's the first mistake you made, Gary. You're trying to understand what they're saying.
Yeah,
I'm trying. I ain't trying to be the person who's just like, oh, that's just beyond me. I mean, This song, the Jaylen song, was okay. I know he was saying, and I was a little surprised about smoking a cigar and all that. I mean, I didn't know,
very classy guy.
Yeah. I ain't nothing wrong with that, but it was okay. I didn't had any idea he was going to pursue music, and we all remember Shaq and his career 20, 30 years ago now. So it's kind of reminiscent of that, where it's like, okay, that's cool, and that's about it.
Well,
Yeah,
I feel like Jaylen rapped in the song. That's how my
Kwani, cue it up.
That's my opinion.
Right, so
let the folks know who we're talking about.
If you did not hear this yet, Jaylen Brown released a collaboration track with Ferg called "Just Do It," and of course, once you hear that name, knowing his relationship with Nike and his recent non-appearance at the Olympics, people already assumed that it was going to be a diss track, and he dropped the video and music there was a snippet that was like dropped that I was like, he definitely knew it was like leaked, but it was Sherrod, what were your thoughts? Now we will react to the music video.
First of all, in the video, Jaylen is very, straight no chaser about Nike. He's straight no chaser about not making the Olympics team. So he gets that out the way right off the jump. So you kind of get a sense of where this is going. It wasn't bad. The first time I heard it, I could not make it all the way through it because I just wasn't feeling it. The second time I listened to it, I listened to more of it. And the thing that jumped out to me about it was it felt Jaylen's portion of the song. It felt like something that I would hear at a poetry slam. And I do like poetry slams.
Yeah.
He had a certain rhythmic cadence to it that I thought fit better without any music, and him just basically spitting bars would have made, for me, it would have made a better experience. But I get what he's trying to do. I get some of the vibes that he's trying to put out there. And again, this is Jaylen Brown, someone who has never been shy about trying the unconventional. And this was definitely something that is a little bit out of his usual bandwidth of things to do. But I think you're gonna certainly have some people who are gonna be like, oh, Jaylen, that was really cool, and others gonna be like, yo, this was trash.
I would say his 2020 music video with his brother Quentin about their mom, probably still my favorite track because it was like unintentionally funny, but I thought it was actually good too.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The thing about Jaylen that I do appreciate is that there's a certain level of thought that he puts into pretty much everything he does, whether it's playing the game, whether it's working with different, at-risk groups, the Boston Exchange, the Bay Area Exchange, that type of stuff. He's always putting a certain level of what I would call top-tier thoughtfulness into anything and everything he does. And I respect that. It's not always going to work out how he wants it to. It's not always going to be an absolute hit, but you have to respect the effort and you have to respect the intentionality that he goes about handling his business. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to exactly win any Billboard Top 100 awards, anything like that. But, again, I think that for Jaylen, it was about sending out a message. And, I think the message was sent.
And he had an outlet to kind of express that art.
Well, when you're NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, you got some doors that are open to you that weren't always there. Or at least people are more comfortable collaborating with you on some things than it may have been if you were like, the third pick in the NBA draft who just got booed by the hometown fans. That dude you probably ain't going to try to work with necessarily. But this Jaylen Brown, this version of Jaylen Brown, the most recent version of Jaylen Brown, there's a lot to be attracted to wanting to do collabos with him, for sure.
Definitely resonates more than a press conference with too. Like to your point about adjusting the ways he's been slighted. All right, I'm not going to answer questions. I have the track for y'all to listen to.
Facts. I mean, I ain't mad at him about that. I thought Gary
want to ask questions about it, but
I thought Gary was going to be a little bit more into this one, being that they're both Cal guys. Because you let a Syracuse dude put out a rap song, it's going to be a classic. I don't care how bad it is. It's going to be a classic.
No. There will be no classic.
I mean, I respect his desire. I have no idea.
I feel like he's about to get dissed.
No, I don't. I
respect his desire.
That's really cool. I don't know. I mean, I've never
There's a big butt coming here. You know it.
I don't know who Ferg is. I know ASAP Ferg, and isn't there another Ferg?
That is the same person, except
Ferg. ASAP Ferg. Okay. He need to get some hits ASAP. I mean, I ain't heard of him. What's his biggest song? Please tell me. Fans, send it. If there's something I need to listen to by ASAP Ferg, let me know. I will listen to it. I try to be open, but I heard of his name. Isn't there another ASAP, Kwani?
Yeah, Rocky.
Okay.
It's Rocky. It's a whole other.
What's the ASAP? What are we doing here?
I'm not even gonna pretend like I know, to be honest.
What's the umbrella?
I do think it's an umbrella. I'm not gonna say anything.
No, go ahead, Kwani.
No, I don't want to assume what I think it is. I'm gonna look up the ASAP dynasty. Is it a dynasty?
It's a dynasty now. Like the Warriors?
Wow. No, more like Milwaukee.
Oh my God, what are we doing?
More like that Milwaukee dynasty.
Kwani called it dynasty. Oh my God.
Wow.
Headache.
Anyway.
Kwani called this ASAP a dynasty. What are we doing? Wow.
No, honestly, I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. I don't know. Okay, so it's ASAP Mob. And so they're members of the same group. Yeah, okay. See, obviously Dynasty was a poor choice of words, but it was a group of rappers, a hip-hop collective formed in the 2000s in Harlem, and A$AP Rocky, A$AP Ferg, A$AP, there's other people that were, Playboy Cardi actually is the only
Playboy was in with him?
Yeah, interesting. But I'm not going to pretend to be a hip-hop historian or anything, so that's why I didn't know the full background. I just knew they were in some kind of group or related.
Yeah, the song that I remember most is Click, because they did that with Big Sean. That was good. That was I didn't realize that A$AP Ferg was in on that. I knew A$AP Rocky was. I didn't know Ferg was too though.
Yeah, I'll do some more research later, but
How about we get to the next topic ASAP?
All right. So
ASAP.
Gary's like, next question.
Yeah, ASAP. Let's do this ASAP.
Okay, fine. Well, moving on. I actually, wow. I think I gotta let that one breathe.
It's like Kwani trying to explain why everybody's called Lil. Like it just isn't, Lil Wayne.
That was an era thing too.
Lil Wayne, Lil Kim,
Lil
John.
Lil John. Like, what are we doing here? But go ahead.
All right, well, yikes. Jeff Bezos. There were reports. I'm gonna get into the reports that said he was gonna buy the Celtics, or at least was interested, and now the reports are saying otherwise. I mean, all three of us, I think, can attest to the fact that the media cycle, sometimes people will say things that either they heard through the grapevine, or maybe it's something that they wanted that they decided to put out there. But we talked about the Bezos rumors to begin with, but I don't know. What do you guys think about the fact that there's an intentional report that he is not interested in buying the team now?
Well, the man is worth like damn near almost $200 billion. So it ain't like his lack of interest will be because I don't know if I can afford it. Hell yeah, you can afford it. And then some. So that's
exactly
right. But I think that he's like any other businessman, and he wants to get the best deal possible. And I think at the price that he's hearing, he's probably not interested. But if, let's say, that price came down by $500 million or $1 billion, he might have a different change of heart. I don't think it's necessarily an absolute done deal that he's not going to be interested. But I do think that they're going to get a deal done. And I know who I'm rooting for to wind up with the team. I hope it goes to Pags, Steve Pagliuca, just because I think that would be the most seamless way to keep this organization structurally on the path that it's on. I think any other owner comes in, they're going to look at that damn hefty bill that they're going to have to pay early on and be like, woo, we're going to have to like do a little belt tightening up here. And that's going to disrupt what I think is a team that's built to be a title contender for a number of years going forward.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I think the Bezos thing was thrown out there. It sounds like it was very, I don't say convenient, but it sounded great that he would want to get involved. But the fact that he isn't, like Sherrod said, maybe he could be persuaded, with some certain conditions or prices would lower. But we'll see how that goes. But I just think the whole thing is going to be fascinating because we just don't know who's going to come out of the woodwork. What team, what in terms of like a team of a management team, maybe with some former athletes, kind of spearheading it, will lead a group that will try to purchase the Celtics, or is it just going to be Pags? And, I think everybody's rooting for Pags, but I also think this is a major, obviously one of the premier sports franchises in the world. And there's going to be somebody who sees the value in this, who's going to probably come out of the woodwork, or is privately now doing their research and going to figure out what's the best way to approach this, to buy this team and perhaps build a new arena and figure out what's the next step. Because I think any new owner will want to build a new arena because you make a good chunk of money off the arena and the profit. And it took, obviously, as we talked about before, it took Steve Ballmer 10 years. Then the new Intuit Dome is going to be ready to open. I think it already hosted Bruno Mars. And it's going to be open for the Clippers season coming up in October. So I think, and it's going to host Olympic basketball in 2028. So that was Ballmer's dream, but it also took him a decade to do it. So we'll see how long a new owner, I think that would be kind of a prerequisite to want to build a new arena and how long that will take. But I think it's a very interesting, intriguing team to buy. And I'm sure that's not going to just be Pags. There's going to be some competitors out there. And it might not be Jeff Bezos, but I think it will be somebody that either we probably don't know, have never heard of, or a group that's probably being formed right now, with maybe some heavy hitters and some big names leading it. And it'll be maybe a collective, 15 people, 10 people collaborating together to buy the team.
I'll tell you what, though, Gary, I would love if there's one former player to be in that mix, I'd want that to be Kevin Garnett. I would love for Kevin Garnett, maybe Paul Pierce. Hell, let's get the big three back together, the other big three, and throw Ray Allen in the mix as well. I would love for them to be part of an ownership group because, to me, Wick has made it really hard for whoever is going to, come after him as an owner to really be successful. When you not only in terms of the wins, not only in terms of the championships, plural, not singular, but also the culture that Wick has been able to establish. And there's a lot of people that who have a hand in that. Obviously, Brad Stevens and Danny Ainge before that. You look at what Joe Mazzulla has done, but someone has to cut the checks to all those people to keep them happy, to keep them content, to keep them building on the success from the year before and just kind of keep this thing going. And I think that there's a different kind of energy that you get when you have a guy like a Kevin Garnett that's part of that ownership group. I thought that if Glenn Taylor ever, was going to pass the torch in Minnesota, I thought Kevin Garnett would be part of that ownership group. And when he wasn't, I was like, oh, damn. Okay. And now that Wick is obviously opened the doors to moving the Celtics to a new ownership group, Kevin Garnett is someone that, to your point, Gary, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got his people behind the scenes looking at just the financial feasibility of being part of an ownership group. Would not surprise me if Steve Pagliuca has, in some way, shape, or form, either directly or indirectly, reached out to Kevin to see if he has some interest. That would make a lot of sense, not only in terms of the image that your ownership group has, but just from the simple bottom line. Who got that kind of paper that can contribute? And Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, there's a handful of guys that have connections with this organization who would want to be part of something like that. And so, again, I think I'm pulling for Pagliuca to wind up with the team because, again, I think that's the best shot that this organization has of staying at or near the top without any major disruptions due to ownership deciding to go in a different direction.
And when you mention that culture, who better than to keep the culture alive than the team that helped launch a new millennium of, it's taken a while, but a culture that they know that they want to create, which is one of success. So I could easily see that being a viable option. Hopefully they gave him the call. If not, we could start the rumors ourselves. Call Kevin Garnett.
I would be, like I said, Kwani, I would be shocked if someone within an ownership group, if not Pag's group, some group that has reached out to Kevin Garnett and just kind of really gauged his interest in that. Because it makes so much sense. So much sense.
Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 players' stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on a daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. That's right. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. While daily fantasy lineups are cool, you can also get in on season-long projections as well. Should you go more or less on Patrick Mahomes throwing for 4,300 yards? And what about Aaron Rodgers and 3,750 yards passing? How about Tyreek Hill having more or less than 1,376 yards receiving? Or Saquon Barkley rushing for more than or less than 1,050 yards? Get in on the action by downloading the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, run your game.
All right, this episode is a little all over the place, so bear with me. Our next topic is Oshae Brissett. It just feels, I can't even make like natural transitions. So let's talk about Oshae Brissett. On his Brissy TV, is that how you pronounce it? His YouTube blog, he was talking about whether or not, because he, for those who don't know, he declined his $2.5 million player option a week before free agency started. So on his blog, he basically said the door isn't fully closed when he's talking about Boston. And of course, this was a great season for him. Obviously, they won a championship, but he also said that he grew as a player and obviously got to practice with Hall of Famers that came in to help them continue to create this culture of winning. Do you two see him as an actual option for that final spot on this roster?
What you got, Gary?
Not really, to be honest. I think they might be looking for another big with Porzingis being out for 3 months, but I think unfortunately, Oshae put himself in a bad position. He got bad advice to reject that offer because now you would have had a guaranteed year with a championship team, a team trying to run it back, and you would have been, you're part of the whole crew. You were very popular in the locker room. He was at Peyton Pritchard's wedding. He's still one of the guys, but he thought, okay, I'll get a better package. He'll get that Svi Mihalik package that he got from Utah, but that ain't work. And Svi got paid. Svi got a 4-year deal, which is, I think, shocking to everybody. Not all of it guaranteed, but the fact that he didn't play much last year and got, Utah broke him off, I think, 2 guaranteed years. So I'm sure that Oshae thought he was going to be on that list of guys who might get a little bump in salary but get an increased role. And that hasn't happened. And the market is dried up. There's guys out there, Marcus Morris and, guys out there who are still, Isaac Okoro from Cleveland is still a restricted free agent. No one's made him an offer, right? I mean, there's a group of guys out there, Lonnie Walker, who, to me, that'd be a good fit. I mean, that's a guy who could get buckets, only 26 years old and a scorer. I mean, that's a guy that if I'm the Celtics, I take a flyer on him. He's bounced around a little bit, so I don't know if it's something off the floor with him or whatever. But I think Oshae really kind of made a bad call here. And, he might have to wait for a camp invite. And what's the Celtics' incentive on bringing him back on a guaranteed deal now when he opted out? It was a bad call. And sometimes it's hard.
Does he have an agent? Do you know if he has an agent or does he represent himself?
I'm sure. He's an agent. I just think it was a situation he probably thought he would get maybe a bump in salary, but a more increased role because he didn't play as much. And let's be honest, the whole on-court experiment with Oshae didn't work out well. I mean, he wasn't a good shooter. Mazzulla's confidence in him wavered throughout the season. So it wasn't a great fit. Off the floor, I think it was a great fit. I think he mixed in very well with the team. And I think it was sort of like, well, why not come back, and bet, but he decided to bet on himself. But you're coming off a year where you didn't play that much. So your resume is not, looking great with a bunch of, he did this and he did that. He had his moments. I think in the Indiana series, he played some quality minutes. But to me, there's no incentive for the Celtics to use that roster spot now. Guys who are free agents are essentially kind of on the desperate side. It's a buyer's market right now. And then if you're the Celtics, you wait till training camp comes. There's going to be some guys who are going to get released and waived in the last few days before rosters are set in about 2 months that are going to be attractive, that are going to be probably some notable names. So if you're the Celtics, you wait until then. You're not going to lock up Oshae now, and then some guy gets waived by a deep team like Oklahoma City or one of these teams with 16, 17 guys in the roster, and then you're just like, oh, well, we already signed Oshae. Like, there is no incentive for the Celtics to sign him now. So it sounds nice and it would be cool, but he screwed himself over by rejecting the option. And the Celtics are not gonna, hey, we like you, bro, but good luck, and we'll see if we do have interest down the road.
Yeah, it's a bad gamble he took, but an understandable one. When you look at what he has done, his body of work gives you the vibe that worst case scenario, he's like your 9th, 10th man. And those guys, we're going to get maybe $5 million. So it made sense for him to gamble on himself like that, especially coming back to a Boston team where it wasn't like there were a couple guys that were going to be out and you were going to get a chance to get some burn. So for him, it made sense to roll the dice. And obviously he crapped out. He's got no real clear path to getting paid or even playing this year. So he's going to have to play the waiting game. And hopefully something will work out, because I do believe that he will be in the NBA this year. It's just, I think he may wind up being one of those guys that, gets a 10-day and then gets another 10-day and then gets a guaranteed deal after proving himself, over, a 20-day period. But I can't be mad at him for walking away from that money in Boston, because even when he came here, we all kind of suspected that if he plays at the level that I think he's capable of playing, he's going to outperform that contract. And that just didn't happen. He didn't get off to the greatest of starts. He showed glimpses of being someone that could contribute, but never with any type of consistency. And he was already on a relatively short leash to begin with. Joe Mazzulla did not have a ton of confidence in him. And when he didn't hit the ground running, that confidence pretty much disappeared just like that. So, yeah, it's a tough spot for him to be in, but he's done enough in the NBA where he's going to be in somebody's camp at the start of the season. But it's probably not going to be on a guaranteed deal, and he's probably going to have to work his way and just really establish himself all over again, similar to how he got into the NBA in the first place, which is being a hustle, scrappy guy, high energy type player, and who can knock down a few shots every now and then. And if he's able to do that, then he'll be fine. He'll find a home somewhere. But until then, he's just going to be like the rest of us and just kind of watching and waiting for his opportunity.
Yeah, you mentioned that he fits in off the floor, Gary, but he's probably one of the first players where I've noticed consistently that is dedicated to his vlogging. Do you two think that could be something that is considered when it's time to sign a player like him? The fact that he's like, I mean, granted, I imagine he knows what not to put online, but I've never seen the NBA player put that much footage on the internet.
He's trying to get ready for the next career.
Yeah, because he was before the season started. Yeah,
I mean, I think if we're being honest and keeping it real, he's not going to have many years left in the NBA, even if he's with a roster this year. He's not going to be in the league for another 6, 7, 8 years. That ain't going to happen. So what are you going to do after that? He's putting together body work that's going to give him some flexibility and I think some opportunities outside of playing the game when he's done playing. And it's a smart move. You look at guys like JJ Redick, who had a really good career, and he started doing, the podcast thing when he was playing. You look at guys like Channing Frye, some of the stuff that he was doing in terms of outside media type stuff. So players, I think, are understanding that at some point that ball is going to keep bouncing and you won't be with it. What are you going to do when that happens? What's the way that you can stay connected to the game besides being an assistant coach or going to the front office or having, jobs with lots of responsibility, but very few opportunities come to a lot of these players to get that? What can you do? What do you enjoy doing? What's your passion outside of playing basketball? And I think you're finding more and more players who are tapping into that. We're talking obviously about Oshae Brissett, but you look at a guy like Jaylen Brown. Would anybody be shocked if Jaylen ran for public office within like 2 to 3 years after he's done playing?
No.
And when he does, he will have a platform that shows this is what he was about when he was coming up through the business. And now that he is no longer dribbling a damn basketball and got $500 million in the bank, this is what he wants to do now. He wants to be a civil servant. So I think Oshae is really, I think he's being smart about that and just trying to build that resume of outside of basketball. But he's still young enough to where he feels he's got some game left in him, and I think he does. And I think he will be able to play for someone this year, but it ain't going to happen right now. And to Gary's point, Gary's spot on. Brother is not getting a guaranteed deal from Boston. There's no way in hell that the Celtics should do that. It makes absolutely no sense on any level or any planet that you reside on to sign him now. And it has nothing to do with him as a player and everything to do with roster flexibility. Because we're talking about them maybe wanting to add another big. But, God forbid, if a player at another position gets hurt, you want to have the flexibility to add, a player at a position if you have to do something along those lines. So I get it.
Do the roster better than last year's, despite the fact that it's already good.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a reason why they brought the whole band back together because they felt that this is a team that can run it back and win another championship. But if one piece other than Porzingis is out for a significant period of time, you want to have the flexibility to address that. So, and they have that now. That's why I just don't see them doing anything with that open roster spot anytime in the near future. Doesn't make it just there's no value in them doing that.
Summertime is winding down, but the college football season is just starting to heat up. There's no better way to get your college football fix than Game Time, which is where you can find the best deals on college football game tickets, concerts, NFL, WNBA, and so much more. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluffs to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The one college football game I'm looking forward to seeing this year is when my alma mater, Syracuse University, travels out west to play Gary Washburn's Cal Cubbies. Cal Bears. There's a great selection of seats starting as low as $29 for that game. That's right, $29. Having the map of the stadium along with the different colored price coding makes it super easy to find the best seats for your budget and not have to scramble all over your app to do so. And you're covered by Game Time's lowest price guarantee, where Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Game Time and download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
All right, before we close out, final person we're going to talk about, Jason Tatum. He got a new tattoo. We actually saw him at the Connecticut Sun game at Tea Garden. He was at the Everybody Got to Eat in Cambridge. They had their 5th annual barbecue. Emmanuel Merville, he does that barbecue every year in the city of Cambridge and brings everyone out. There's food, there's vendors. So Tatum made an appearance there as well. But what stood out to Sherrod this week was the tattoo. So what were your reactions to his Kobe? Well, his All-Star Game MVP trophy tattoo, which was named after Kobe.
Gary.
What? I ain't seen it. I don't know.
No, it's not about the tattoo. It's the fact that it's yet another homage to Kobe by Jason Tatum. And you know this as well as anyone. It just rubs Celtics fans the wrong way whenever he does that. And for me, it's
not over it at this point though, because that is like.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about him and Kobe. That is a relationship that will never ever go away. He is always going to have that connection with Kobe because that is someone that he idolized. That is someone who has been basically, if Jason Tatum were to put together the basketball Mount Rushmore for Jason Tatum, it might not even be a Mount Rushmore. You might have 4 Kobes. You might have 4 Kobes across that.
4 Kobes and a Tatum.
Exactly. No, just 4 Kobes, no Tatum. And so you have to embrace the fact that that's always going to be there. And any opportunity that comes across his mind to honor Kobe, he's going to do that. And here's the thing. I'm at the point now where it doesn't bother me. And the reason it doesn't bother me is because regardless of how you feel about him and how much he idolizes Kobe, Jason Tatum was drafted to do one thing: help this franchise win a championship. He's done that. Make this a team or help this team become a consistent, elite, top-tier team. He's done that. I mean, think about this. He's been to probably more conference finals at this young age than damn near anyone from his draft class. It's not even close. And if you start looking at guys who are under 30 in the NBA who have been to the All-Star game as many times as him, there are very few, if any, who've been one series away or in the finals the way he has. And so Jason Tatum has embodied what it means to be a great player, a great first team All-NBA guy, leading your team to deep playoff runs year after year after year. And does he do it the way Kobe did? No. Does he absolutely emulate that Mamba mentality? I don't think so. But let's not act as if the dude is chopped liver. Let's not act as if, he's on the Team USA and my name is Steve Kerr and I'm the coach and I'm going to put him at the end of the bench. He ain't that dude. Tatum is better than that. And he has shown his body of work over the years to be one of the best in the game. And if he wants to show his respect for his longtime idol, I don't got a problem with that at all. And most fans shouldn't either, because if you're a Celtics fan, if we're keeping it 100, you don't give a damn who he has on his arm. Is he going to go out there and give me 27, 10, and 7? And he's consistently been an elite player in this game. And so, no, I got no issues with the tattoo. I understand why some people might, but I think they just need to get over it, because it really ain't that. It's not affecting him balling out winning a championship.
And the worst thing that could happen is that he does emulate one of the greatest players. Like, emulate his style, his game, his mentality. Like, it doesn't hurt to have an idol that. I'm
glad that he is not trying to be Kobe 2.0, because if he did, he would suck.
And people would be mad about that.
And they'd be mad. I'm like, why are you trying to be like him? Why don't you just be yourself?
That's not Celtics basketball. That's LA basketball.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like the whole Kobe's a Laker thing. I mean, to me, yes, one of the all-time great Lakers, 20 years as a Laker, an amazing player, and, you know, off the court was a real impact and influence on a lot of young players. I think that's where this is. I don't think it mattered that Kobe played for the Lakers. I just think it mattered that Kobe was one of the all-time greats, one of the all-time great competitors. You hear all the stories that have surfaced, obviously, since his terrible and untimely death, about just the competitor he was and how he pushed people and how just he was kind of in his own world in terms of wanting to be a competitor and a winner, and how he was motivated by anything, and he had so much Jordan-like characteristics. So I don't have any problem with Jason emulating Kobe Bryant. I mean, you know, Kobe was a Laker, yeah, but Kobe was one of the all-time great players. It's like anybody saying they emulate Larry Bird or Michael Jordan. Oh, he was with the Bulls. Like, so what? Like, he was, like, you know, I mean, let's be honest. Like, Kobe retired when Jason was graduating high school, right? Like 2016 was Kobe's final year. Jason was getting out of Chaminade High School. So they had Jason didn't know he was going to be a Celtic. So, I mean, like the whole thing, well, I shouldn't like him because he played for the Lakers and I'm a Celtic, or I shouldn't. No, it's absurd. Like, let some of this stuff go. The Lakers, like, there's a great rivalries, and you could have a little disdain for the Lakers and all that, and now the Celtics have more titles than the Lakers. You can say all of,
but at the end of the day, when Kobe passed, the TD Garden, I don't remember why. I think I went specifically to see the tribute, and the way people left flowers and newspapers.
It was insane.
It's like, come on, it's above basketball.
It was his city. People don't have any idea. He was there for 20 years. Magic was a Laker for 13 years, and he came back. I mean, so that just shows you the comparison, right? I mean, were people talking about when Bill Russell had a Kobe jersey on during the Kobe tributes? When people bad-mouthing Bill Russell wore a Laker jersey. He wore a Kobe jersey when he was still living, and they had a thing, the first Lakers Celtic game since Kobe's death, and there's Bill Russell. So what, you gonna talk about Bill Russell? Because Bill Russell wore a Kobe jersey? Like, let this. If anybody has a problem with it, it's ridiculous. Let it go. He got, like Sherrod said, he got y'all a chip. You paid him $314 million. He trying to get y'all more chips. Let that boy do what he want. He fine. Jason fine.
He good.
Yeah, Jason a good dad. He's spending his time doing some community stuff. He built a new basketball court, a refurbished basketball court in his hometown of St. Louis. Throughout the first pitch of the Cardinals game, like he's living the life. He's trying to move on from the Team USA experience. He's writing a children's book. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Coming up next month, he's releasing his first children's book. So, like, the Kobe tattoo, like, if Celtic fans have a problem with that, then you need to review yourself, man. Jason's been the model Celtic. I mean, it's just he loves the area. He professes love. He signed a long-term deal. Like he's going to be a Celtic for the next 5 years at least, and so he's going to be a Celtic for 12 years. I mean, he's going to be an all-time great. His number's going to be retired, like, because he likes Kobe Bryant. Like, that's what we're doing. Now, if he was like, oh, I'm going to get a LeBron tattoo, then you'd be like, okay, damn. Jason,
now we got a problem.
Yeah, that's your competitor. That's one of your rivals, even though he's older. He's still playing. He okay, that might be a little weird. We've seen some weird tattoos from some people over the years, but no, Kobe, no. Emulate him all you want. he was a role model. He made some mistakes. He atoned for them, and he became a model businessman. He was a girl dad, a good coach, and I said his death still. It's been 4.5 years, and still is just terrible. We all still get emotional when we think about what happened to him and the 8 other people on the helicopter and his daughter. And I mean, come on now. Let's tone it down on this rivalry thing. Let Jason do what he wants.
Yeah. Baby dunks a lot, though. You brought up the new picture book that Tatum is releasing in September. What do you know anything else about it? I don't know much. Just that the cover looks cute.
Yeah, I know it's a little children's book, and I think it's about basketball. So we'll see. Jason's going to do a book tour. I know he's coming around to some places in Boston area. So, I mean, that's just awesome. I mean, to me, he didn't have to do that. And hopefully it'll be an inspiration to his son, inspiration to other young men and young girls and young ballers out there, young people, whoever, what you do. And he's being a role model. I said he's only 26 years old. So you talking about having accomplished a lot. I mean, you gotta put Jason Tatum on that list.
Yeah. I'm actually reading the pre-order, and it says The Baby Boss meets Space Jam. That's a good way to describe it, because I'm pre-ordering myself a book. You were gonna say something, Sherrod?
I was gonna say, Gary, you and Tatum need to tag team on a book tour, yo.
Yeah, he should have co-authored with you.
I'm just saying. I mean, I ain't trying to be your agent. Although if I get 10% cut, I would take it in a minute. But y'all should probably tag team that joint.
I mean, Gary, you could probably write his memoir, though, right? I don't know if you want to write a picture book.
A picture book of Jason Tatum.
You can't write a picture book.
Excuse me, dunking on LeBron.
We talking about a coloring book?
No, I meant that is a picture book. No, his book is described as a picture book, for the record.
No,
in September.
We'll see down the road when Jason decides to tell his story. Maybe I'll be a candidate. We'll see.
No to call.
Yeah, and hey, I'll even write. I'll talk to Joe Mazzulla. Maybe we'll collaborate.
That's the book that you need to write.
Maybe we'll come together and we'll write his memoir. I'd like to do that too.
Dude,
I do have a book coming out, the Boston Celtic timeline.
Yeah,
September 15th. Illustrated timeline on Amazon, folks. So September 15th is the release day. So
that's the same day as Tatum's book. Oh, September 10th. Sorry, yours is Friday.
Thanks, Kwani. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I ain't trying to.
That wasn't a lot of competition. You gotta.
Yeah, I ain't trying to do all that. But yeah, that's on the horizon, and hopefully people all the way from the beginning of the history of the franchise, from when they were in the National Basketball League all the way until Title 18. So hopefully fans will enjoy it, and it'll offer some history to a lot of people who only have heard of these people, or maybe can read a bit more about some of the all-time greats from the history. And all of our people, Max is in it, all of our friends are in it, the people we've got to know, the great Tommy Heinsohn and obviously Red and Bill Russell and the Jones, Sam and Casey Jones, all those people that we revered over the years and gotten to know. And even obviously a lot of the current guys too. And so hopefully it'll be an enjoyable read. So yeah, that's my plug.
Is it
when is it coming out?
Yeah.
September 15th.
September 15th.
You can order now on Amazon.
Pre-order? Can we pre-order?
You can pre-order now on Amazon. The Boston Celtics Illustrated Timeline. So it's
I got 2 months to go pre-order on Amazon.
176 moments. I picked top moments in the history of the franchise.
Why that number?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know, but it was not easy. And obviously, people have asked, well, does it talk about all? We talk about all 18 titles, so we have a page about all the 18 titles describing kind of their playoff run and that type of thing. So if you want to know about the 62 title or the 68 title or the great run in 69 where they beat the Lakers in Game 7 at the Forum, like all that stuff is in there.
Well, if that's the case, you should start writing now for the part 2, because you could just get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Ready. All right, Sherrod, anything you want to plug before we go?
No, I'm just happy Gary got the book coming out, man.
Me too.
I'm excited for him. Make sure you got a chapter in there about Mikal Petrus,
Oh, yeah, he's the main part of the book.
That's what I thought, yeah. That's my guy. That's my guy.
I want a signed copy, by the way.
No problem. No problem.
And Kwani, I need a signed autograph, Kwani, because I know you got a couple extras.
I actually still have these.
Yeah, autograph photo. Oh God.
I'm not gonna hold you. I think I told y'all this last week, but when they gave me these, I was like, nobody wants my autograph.
I do.
I tell you,
Michael B. Jordan does.
I have 10 left because my friends have been like, "Where's mine?"
Yeah,
so shout out
where's
to all my
mine?
friends because y'all have made me feel so special over the last 2 weeks.
Just
It's
make sure
only been a week. It's only been a week.
Make sure you save one for Michael B. Jordan. He might want one too.
Michael B. Jordan for Sherrod and Gary Washburn.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it. All right. Well, on that note, that's the end of this week's episode of the Big Three NBA podcast. We appreciate y'all sticking with the shenanigans because it's always a good time here. Gary Washburn, Sherrod Blakely, I'm Kwani Lunis. We appreciate you listening. And of course, we'll be back next week.